possibility of people just jumping ship, voting for a party that they didn't sign up for or have no ties to because they believe that idea more than their own. That is democracy in its finest.
No.
Maybe I want to stop it.
No, here's the deal. It's literally the argument of Foucault. It's basically the argument of Foucault, which is
Again,
I do not support capital punishment, not because it is cruel, but because I do not trust the executioners. I don't trust the government doing that. That's his only reason for not supporting capital punishment, and I'm part of that boat. It is not like it's not like blind skepticism of government, as in government equals bad. It's not that. It's more of checks and balances. Do we trust them with it? So it's less about the illegal activity itself and more about the people who will enforce it.
Who's them? It's us, kind of, right?
It's not us. Democracy is a scam.
Oh, come on. I mean, maybe, but not to that extent.
Democracy has an influence. It applies pressure. The politicians have to do everything in secret. I'm not saying the people are powerless. I'm saying it's a tug of war, and I don't trust the people on the other side.
So it's a representative democracy. So basically, it's the alternative to always just getting referendums, I would see. At least you would, you want the elites discussing the elite matters, right? Kind of, in theory, yeah? So I actually would trust the capital punishment if I knew exactly, not me as a person, as a collective, you have to. Otherwise, why do you go to a voting booth if you do not trust the process? Why are all these systems democratic now?
It's simple. I don't like the process. I think that it has a lot of flaws, but that doesn't change the fact that it's the best thing we have right now. And
cool.
I can admit that.
So who would you, for example, trust with encryption or capital punishment, for that matter? But
no one.
Oh, well, if somebody will do it, then who would you trust more? I mean, if it's already is going to be done anyway.
How about it's just not done?
I don't think it works like that these days.
Well, if
I mean, a lot of places don't have capital punishment.
Well, if it's not going to be done, who enforces it not being done? That's another question. So it's the same thing. It's the same question still. Who would you trust with that power and authority?
Fair enough. Although, again, keep in mind, I may be like a hardcore libertarian, but I wouldn't think I'm an anarchist, because it's not like the end goal for me is that the government is demolished. To me, prosperity exists in that tension of keeping them in check, of trying to pull power from them and then pulling it back. As long as that tension exists, things will be fine. They cannot be beaten, and we need them, but we also need that push and pull. We need that tension.
Well, isn't that the point
what
of
parliament is for?
Yeah, isn't that the point of representative democracy? Is that if you don't like a guy, you
checks and balances. Just. Well, in theory, we're still speaking in theory here, because things go wrong very quickly when you have, a guy who has an IQ of 160 voting and a guy who has 60. You got a problem there. I know you're gonna bring all the argument of the natural distribution and everything, but it's still, we wouldn't know how these data would work unless 100% of the people would go vote, which we never have more than 40. I haven't seen anything more than 40 in a while, actually. 40%.
Yeah, and that's one flaw of democracy. You know, it's like Trillion and his Discord server. Basically, you remember the vote on Minecraft?
Yes.
When you did a vote, do you guys want the server to be on Minecraft Java or Minecraft Bedrock? And what won is Minecraft Bedrock, and it was 2 votes versus 1 vote. And then all the people spoke, and they're like, "No, we wanted Java." And it's like, why didn't you vote? Why didn't you vote? So yeah, like that's one flaw of democracy. In theory, unless everybody votes, or the vast majority of people, overwhelming majority votes, you don't really have. It's not ideal, and also that thing about the IQ. I don't think it bothers me, honestly. I'm against what is it called, meritocracy. So no, it's fine. If someone has an IQ of 5, they should vote.
No, that wasn't.
That wasn't my point. I was like, yeah, I was just saying, you're gonna get different quality of vote. For example, I could sell an idea, you know, that is really simple. For example, 1,000 KD or 1,000 pounds, or 1,000 currency, beans, whatever. You want to give it to the whole population. I'm saying, or arguing, that the lower the IQ of a person would be, the easier to, you know, they would be sold into such things. Whether the upper people who are trained in mathematics and economy and yeah, they would actually say, no, who's going to pay for it? Is it, you know, are we gonna basically inflate the currency that way, or inflate the beans that way, and now it's useless? See, that's the difference of vote that you're getting. Some people who are pragmatic, going to attack the problem in different angles, finding all the intricacies and the plus and minuses, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. And you're gonna go get people who are like, yummy, yummy, 1,000 beans in my plate.
Isn't that what happened to that African country? Which one was it? The one that they reached, you know, a bill of 1 trillion or whatever. What they did, like the guy who won the vote was basically the guy who said, "I'm gonna print you guys money and give it to you." And so everybody thought that was a good idea.
That didn't
voted
survive
for him.
6 months.
Yeah, and to me, these are like 2 problems with democracy. The first one is that democracy means the rule of the people. But we tend to forget that the people as rulers can be incompetent rulers. That's 1. 2, we forget that the rule of the people, if we have the rule of the people can be tyrannical. We forget these 2 things. And, you know, it seems like this weird, quirky idea, but you know, on very small scales, like Discord, which I know it's not like a representative of society. It
is a community of some sort.
It is a community of some sort. And I did see a tyrannical majority. I did see a tyrannical, you know, democracy, because the people can be tyrannical. And I think people need to be checked and balanced as much as any other ruler, honestly.
That's when the power of the argument would come. If you're a minority, if you have the argument, yeah? I'm not saying ethnic, you know, there's a lot of things that come into play. Some people will just not listen to a certain type of human, which is fine. Let's ignore this right now. But if I were to present an idea nicely, that I would convince people of the other majority that they could jump ship, which happens all the time. People jump ship like crazy these days. And I'm not saying changing 180 degrees, but upon an issue. Well, that happened in the UK, kind of, with their referendum. Not referendum. Mm-hmm. With the elections. I mean, last 6 months or something. I don't remember. Yeah, for the new government, basically, people just jumped ship over an issue, and that's fine. That's democracy in its finest. That's the oldest democracy actually practicing democracy, regardless of the outcome. I'm not going to comment about the outcome. I don't understand the system, but I'm seeing that the possibility of people just jumping ship voting for a party that they didn't sign up for or have no ties to because they believe that idea more than their own. That is democracy in its finest.
And honestly, using the UK as an example is a little bit of cheating, because it is democracy at its finest. It is the best example of democracy. Everybody else, though?
No, yeah, everybody else in the world is a little bit.
There are two democratic systems, as far as I can tell. There is the British method and there's the French method. And the French method never worked.
No love for the French people in this podcast, I can give you that.
No, I just look at, like Britain and France had a very nice conversation on who should rule the world. Okay, Britain won, so I'm Team Britain. Okay, I'm just that simple. It's just that simple.
Well, that's not a bad analogy.
So yeah, sadly, silver.
I mean,
will
at
not
least
be
you have a
joining us.
prime minister. At least you have a prime minister. He would tell the truth. He actually went to the public in a that was a brave move, because that could have burned him out of politics right there. And I think it might. Yeah. It will depend on the outcome of the next months as well. But still, like, to come to the people and tell the truth. People respect that in a way. People made fun of him. Yeah, people are like, "Oh, that's all you're taking." They're criticizing the action, but not the honesty. No, I haven't met anybody who actually, like, I mean, I'm not like these days. I'm in isolation myself, but I'm saying online. Yeah, I haven't seen people basically criticizing that. They're criticizing the whole policy, but not the honesty, and that's good. I mean, they are the finest democracy for a reason. They are losing faith in the system. That felt some people, especially younger generation, but still, they're millennials anyway and Gen Z.